Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Heal the Industry podcast. I am your host, Ashley Vance, and today I have the honor and privilege of having my amazing, longtime good friend, Lane, here with us, sharing her beautiful light with you guys on the podcast. Lane, thank you so much for joining us. It's so fun to get to have you on here today because you have such a unique perspective because you've never actually been a hairdresser.
Correct.
Or a salon owner.
Correct.
But you have a lot of insight in the industry.
I do. So I actually did go to cosmetology school right out of high school, and I am still 80 hours away from completion, and I have no intentions of going back. But I've always been tethered to the industry because of that. My life just took me down a different path, and then about 4 years ago, I made the jump back into it. And so I get the privilege of helping salon owners all across the United States and even in some other countries, as well as running a salon on the day-to-day.
I love it. And I've seen you witness the greatness of Lane pouring in to the industry and the impact that it has had. And so typically on the podcast, I like to close out the podcast with asking the question, if there was one thing that you could change about the industry, what would it be? And I thought today would kind of be fun to, instead of ending it that way, but leading the conversation in that topic, because you have such a beautiful perspective of being in the nitty-gritty with stylists, with salon owners, with beauty school students that are coming out into the industry, like the whole gamut. So let's talk about it. If you could change one thing about the industry that you feel like would make the biggest impact when it comes to healing, what would it be?
It's easy. Mindset. It all has to go back to your mindset and how limiting beliefs can literally feel so suffocating and hold so many people back from just really reaching their full potential. I can't even say it enough, whether I'm with a salon owner who is just like, oh, I'm just doing this, because this is just the path that I was put on. I never even wanted to be a salon owner, or a stylist who is like, I just come to work and I do good hair and then I leave. It's such a, I don't even know the right term, but the weight of it is just that they don't even see the potential that they have that I can see by just having a conversation with them.
Absolutely. And I don't know about you, but I've noticed too from conversations that I've been a part of is that it's these stories that hold them back the most when it comes to their mindset of the what ifs, right? And a question for the salon owners and stylists that have made the decision, put the worst case scenarios to the side, what percentage of them would you say, when they moved in action, actually had worst case scenario happen?
I mean, the random, stories that you will hear as far as a pipe bursting and flooding your salon or anything like that. I mean, at this point, I've worked with over 200 salon owners, and I would say I could count them at one hand as far as the worst case scenarios that have happened. But I would say on the flip side of that, 100% of the people who break through that mindset block that they have see success. Now, success looks different to everybody, so it may be a financial success or an impact success or something along those lines, but really, those that have been able to just push through and understand what is on the other side waiting for them, 100% success rate.
Right?
Yeah.
It's crazy how debilitating it is for these people. And you see, it breaks my heart to see them be so stuck. But the only thing that keeps them stuck is themselves. It's
Absolutely.
not the circumstances.
I'm a walking testament to that. Like, I genuinely thought I had my life planned. I knew, what I was going to do. I knew who I was going to be with. I knew, how many kids I was going to have. I knew where I was going to live. And I tell you, I thought, okay, I finally made it to the top of this mountain. And I got there and I was like, I don't want this. This is not the vision that I had seen for myself. And I went back and started over from scratch. And it was absolutely this like stuck mindset of like, this is the best that I can have. And it has completely changed my perspective. I mean, I literally have a tattoo on my arm that says, "What if I can?" And it was actually a teaching conference of all things that I went to. And it was a keynote speaker, and she was talking about the self-doubt. And I literally left the conference, I went and got the tattoo, and my entire world changed within the next 6 months. And then, of course, COVID happened, which kind of lit a fire under me. But it was all this self-doubt of just, this is the best that I can do, and just not being fulfilled, like not being happy in anything that I was doing. And so I was like, I'm tired of this, not only like self-doubt, but like doubt from others, like this is the best you can do. And it's almost like a challenge to me. Like every day I'm like, okay, how can I make this better? How can I do more? How can I, share with others? And I've really got the honor to be in a position where I get to have those conversations, not only with stylists on the day-to-day, but also salon owners, to pour into them so then they can go back and have those same conversations with their teams and hopefully spread the healing that genuinely needs to happen.
Yeah, it's so inspiring when someone's pain can become their purpose.
Oh, absolutely.
And then the ricochet effect of that, it's really as simple as making one decision, a decision to choose to have everything happen for you instead of to you. And when you get to experience the transformation that comes from that and the freedom that is unleashed from that place, like you can't help but like want to share it with people.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I mean, don't get me wrong, it was terrifying. Like every single day I was like, oh, is this really the right thing to do? Like, am I making a mistake? Am I, and that self-doubt would creep in. But realistically, like I knew deep down it had to change. Like my mindset of what I was capable of had to change. And at the beginning, full transparency, a lot of it was by myself in closed, behind closed doors, quiet rooms, things along those lines, and really spending a lot of time getting to know who I was, because I don't feel like that ever happened to me probably until I was in my late 20s, trying to just figure out like, what is my purpose? And then it became like very clear, like God put it on my heart very early on that I was set to help people. And so I really thought, okay, just a little background about me is I was a teacher for a long time. And so I was teaching and I was like, oh, this is my purpose. My purpose was to be a teacher. And it wasn't, newsflash, but it was to help people. And in that time of my life, I was helping students. And so then whenever I made the decision to get out of the education world and step into something else, I was like, I just got to figure out like what my purpose is. I knew my goal was to help people, but like, how can I have the most value? And it took work. Like I had to reframe a lot of my thinking, and just, be relatable to anyone and everything, and be incredibly vulnerable in that regard. I don't know it all. But taking the time and listening to people and meeting them where they're at has just had such a tremendous impact in what we are able to do. I mean, it's one of those things, like when you have these conversations in the salon, you know, the girls, they crave to just have some attention and just like to be heard. Doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not holding them to a standard, but if I know where they're coming from, I can actually help them grow and achieve those things, as opposed to just being, you know, the boss that's walking around. It's like, you know, have you posted on social media today? You know, like, oh my gosh, that's such a great transformation. Do you need help creating something with that? It just has allowed me to lead in such a different light. And then even on the salon owner side, I mean, my salon owners that I've worked with in the past, like they become my friends, you know, and they, it's just, I celebrate their wins so much with them. It's just such it fills my cup up, is to be able to share those moments with them. And I challenge back. That's part of being in this mindset, is you have to push them, and you have to make people uncomfortable, because that's where the growth happens. But realistically, mindset is key, but also who you have around you has been instrumental. I mean, like I said, I started doing this in quiet spaces by myself, dark rooms, that kind of thing, but just more of like talking to the big man upstairs and just trying to ask for guidance and what do I need to do next. And then it was kind of like, I felt, even though I was doing the right things, it was a little bit isolating, just because it was so new to me. I was standing, but my feet were still a little shaky. And so I wasn't like really like projecting kind of where I was at or anything like that. And then it has just, honestly, you find your people, you know, that you can do life with. They are put in places, and you may find them at work or, you know, at church or whatever it is, but like having people around you that also share your vision, that has been great, because like I said earlier, I'm not perfect. I'm still a work in progress. That's the beautiful thing of life. And so like also having people that support this growth that's happening within you, like it's just changed everything.
Absolutely. They say, like, what is it? You are the 5 people that you surround yourself with, like your inner circle. Like, they're either going to amplify you or make you question or sit back or second guess. Like, I know I've definitely been in seasons of questioning my certainty because someone is projecting their views onto me. And so I want to talk about that too a little bit. Okay. Because I find that same, like with mindset, and I know like we've had conversations about this in the past, is like when, I know for like salon owners or for stylists, like using the example of like stylists being scared to make a decision because of what their clients might think of them or perceive them as, or salon owners having a hard time making moves that they need to do for the safety and security of their business because they're projecting like what their stylists also might assume of them or their disposition. So when you're mentoring somebody through a mindset block like this of, well, you know, what are these people going to think of me, or I'm going to lose all my clients, I'm going to lose all my stylists. Like, how do you help work them through that? Because I feel like that is the thing, like the bottleneck that keeps everyone stuck from being able to just move confidently in the direction of what they know that they need to do, you know?
I would say my biggest advice would be to know your truth. It's a crazy world sometimes that we have created in our minds, as far as like how are people going to be receptive of certain changes or anything like that. And so it's always a redirection into, okay, let's get down to the actual facts of this situation. You know, whether it comes from a price increase. Okay, well, you are at 100% demand currently, and so if that's the case and your time is valuable and you want to spend more time with your kids, we have to create that time, right? So how can we do that? And come up with like a game plan of like, what is this actually going to look like? But also, you shouldn't just, you know, this is my personal opinion, some people lead differently, but like you shouldn't just like jump off the bridge and hope that there's something down there to catch you. Like, you should have some plans in place that like, at this point, if this isn't working out, I'm going to reevaluate and, maybe determine, do I need to make a change? Am I going about this the right way? So like it is about knowing the facts of the situation and knowing the truth in your situation, but also, okay, what is this? How much time am I going to give this in order for it to be successful? But at that point, once you know that safety net is down there, you have to jump. Like if you just are like, maybe let me see what it looks like. You're never gonna reap the entire benefit without going all in. And again, it's terrifying, 1,000%. But I would have the same conversations with my girls at the salon as far as like if they need to make a schedule change, or if their books are a little bit lighter. Okay, well let's go figure out what is it that is different, or maybe their clients aren't coming back. Let's figure out what your approach is. Maybe there's a conversation that needs to happen, or maybe what works for one stylist doesn't work for another. So let's figure out what makes you successful, and like really diving in there. But I would say the easiest thing with breaking through a mindset is knowing the truth, not what you think is true, not what you've created in your mind to be true, but like what is true, and then we can kind of start building from there.
Yes, I love that so much, because it's really getting discernment on, okay, a feeling comes up for you. Well, are there any facts that support this feeling? Because I mean, I'm an Aries, I'm a crier, I'm a feeler through and through. And I love that. I love all my emotional girlies, but they will keep you stuck.
Absolutely.
And you need the facts.
Absolutely.
To move you forward.
A lot of times whenever I am having these conversations and I am trying to break through, a block or a mindset shift that needs to happen, 9 times out of 10, the entire conversation is about symptoms. And it's not actually addressing the problem. And so that is a lot of the interaction, is a lot of asking questions and actually trying to identify like, okay, but what is the actual problem here that we need to solve, and not like, how does it make you feel? Those are all important and valid and should be heard, but like, let's get to the root of this, and then we can actually make a game plan. Because if you start trying to solve, little things here and there, and solve put a Band-Aid on this one so that you can figure out this one, like you're ultimately just going to be kind of stuck in this like hamster wheel and never actually identifying like what is it that is blocking you from taking that next step.
Totally. I find mentoring people with mindset, and I'd love to get your perspective on this, looking at things more as solutions than problems. Because if you look at both, you're going to find both, but it's which one's going to move you further, that getting that perspective shift. So what have you noticed, like yourself walking through that perspective and mentoring other people from getting to a viewpoint of like, let's look at solutions instead of pointing out all the problems?
So one rule that I always kind of use whenever I am having any type of conversation. Now, obviously, this is going to depend on the amount of time I have to talk about it, but I will set a time limit. I will literally say, okay, let's say it's like a 15-minute check-in. You've got 5 minutes to tell me about the problem, and then we're going to spend the rest of the time working through how we're actually solving it. Because it is important to get it out there and to identify it and acknowledge it, and everything like that is super important. However, if I spend my entire 15-minute block with 12 minutes talking about you telling me what happened, that really limits the availability that I have to actually solve the problem with you. So whenever I want to acknowledge first, that's absolutely key, is to acknowledge what's going on, but I want to reroute it. And then a lot of times, you're training your mind to rethink this way. And so it's not perfect. And a lot of times you'll start thinking of solutions, and then it'll be like, oh yeah, and then it's like, no, okay, all right, a little bit more information, but remember, we're trying to solve this situation. Because a lot of it is like, it stings, but like it's already happened. There's nothing you can do to like really go back and like redo it or change it or anything like that. So like, yes, let's acknowledge it happened. Okay, now what? Now what are we going to do with it, right? If it's a slow day in the salon, okay, well that sucked. Now what? Like, how are you going to recover? I can't go back and bring more clients in or anything like that. Or if I'm working with a salon owner and, you know, their pricing is based off of something from beauty school, it's like, okay, well, that's where you were, but that's not where you're going. So like, it's all that know better, do better. The more you know, the better you can do. And so it's just time to make a change.
Absolutely. 1,000,000%. And I love that point too of like putting a time limit on it, because I find sometimes like in our industry, because there is so much feelings, it almost can become like a complaining session. And it's like, well, yes, it's good to feel your feelings and get it out. Like, that's going to keep you stuck if you stay there too long. And then that's when you lose like productivity in the day, and you're not able to spend that time getting into actually solving the problem. So I love that. Yeah. Like, say, okay, we got 15 minutes. Let's spend 5 minutes, like share everything you got. And then we're going to spend the rest of the time working on this. Like, I love that.
Well, one of the shifts, the big shifts, is that, you know, when I'm at the salon and I'm working and we're, you know, maybe I'm having a conversation and then I need to go do something, and then I'm sure everybody knows this, but you get hit with like, do you have a minute? And I would say over the last year have been really strategic with, I will actually say no. Hey, I don't have time right now, but let me finish what I'm working on and I will come grab you and we can have a conversation. And then also with just even like our money moves conversations that we have, or quarterly check-ins, like I tell my girls, I'm showing up 100% for you. I need you to show up 100% for me. I put my phone to the side. Like, we are locked into a conversation, because I feel like it's super important. If I'm gonna hold them to a standard that they need to show up and be present and be active in the conversation, I also need to do that. And it's very easy when you're, you know, running multiple things to get sidetracked. And so being able to say, I actually don't have, I want to have this conversation, but I can't right now. Can we circle back? Or I'll even give them like, I'll be like, I actually am about to jump on a call. When I'm finished, I'll come find you if you've got time. If not, we'll meet at the end of the day. Like, so being structured enough to say that, because of course, like I want to help people. Like I said, like that's my purpose. I want to help. But like, if I can't show up fully, I'm helping no one, including myself. Like, it's not helpful, because then I'm like, oh, I've got to solve that for them. And it's like, now I'm split in 6 different ways, and that just isn't beneficial for anyone.
Yeah. It's like you're constantly like shifting gears, and you're not actually able to be like in a present flow with somebody either. So even if you stop in that moment to be with them, your mind is still in where you were, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's okay to have boundaries, because you always want like people to feel like, yes, you can always come talk to me. I will always meet you where you're at. But if I have a moment I'm in something, like, you have to honor that also. And it's truly like, that's what you want for your girls too when they're serving the clients, is stay focused on serving that client. If there's something else, it can wait. And it come back to it. It's important, but it's teaching how to have those boundaries, right? So you can be the most effective and your most like present, powerful self. I love that so much.
It's again, it's not perfect. It's, you know, it's a work in progress. There will be times that I have to check myself, or I need to be checked by someone, or anything like that. And that's why it's important to have those people around you that you can genuinely be 100% you with, and have conversations, but also share the vision that they want you to succeed. That's what's been so impactful for me, is not necessarily like I have friends, but like that it's people that genuinely want me to be successful. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, it's not a competition. It's not, you know, that this is so funny to me, but one of the things that I never would have thought would come up in interviews is recently come up, as far as just, we post stats in the break room. That's just something that we do. We want everyone to be aware. And for us as a leadership team, we established it because we want people to like celebrate each other. Like, we'll like write little notes like, great job, or, you know, like just genuinely share. And it was, I don't even remember at what point, but a stylist was like, but like, I want to be at the top. And I was like, that's great. And she was like, yeah, and she's like, I honestly, like, I want everyone to be at the top. Like, she's like, I want to be at the top, but like, I want everyone to continue to like grow and see everything. And I was in an interview and someone was like, you post them their numbers in the break room? And I was like, yeah, like, it's just, and they were like, I've never had that before. And I was like, yeah, it's just like, we want to celebrate each other. And she was like, oh, so it's not like a competition? And I was like, no, like, not at all. Every single person in the salon brings a different thing to the table. Like, I can't compare an extension artist that works 3 days a week to a level 1 artist that is just starting out on the floor. Like, that is, but we want to see growth. We want to see success. And so, like, creating that environment, it's been really important to me and my leadership team that, like, regardless of everything else going on, like, when we walk through those doors, like, we set the tone, like, we set the expectations and the culture, and like, it's just, there's not room for that competitive mentality. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
Right. Like, because at the end of the day, you should really only be in competition with yourself.
Exactly.
Right. Like, what's your goals? What are you going after? Right. And it's a perspective shift of what being a heal the industry style salon would be. Is like, yes, you can have numbers on the wall, but it not mean that it's like a place like that someone feels shameful, and it's a place where people go to feel celebrated, to see what is possible, to get excited and celebrate that. Because if one person in that space is doing like what like the top is doing, it's showing someone who is new and learning, like, you will see the fruits of your labor. And you shouldn't keep any of that, right? And so it's a perspective shift. It's you can have all that stuff in your space, but it's like, how are you leading it? And like, what does it mean to you and a part of your team culture?
Absolutely. Well, I even, like, if I always post the numbers on Monday, that's just, I have them printed off and everything. And like, if I have a doctor's appointment or whatever, I'm not in the salon on Monday, like, I will walk in on Tuesday and they're like, do you have the sheet? And I'm like, yes, I do. Like, I'll get it, but they want, and it's never, I want to see so-and-so's numbers. It's, I want to see my numbers. Right. And it's all about accountability for themselves as well, because in these one-on-one conversations, like, they are telling me, like, what are their goals, right? And I get deep with them. Like, I'm like, okay, like, I want to make more money. That's great. To do what with? Like, where are we going? But it is so important for them to also, like, see that, because there will come days that you're just drained. Like, it's just, whether you've got life happening or something happened at work or whatever, like, you need those people around you to say, like, hey, remember that you're like working towards that, or, or whatever the case may be, fill in the blank. But it's just super important to be able to share that. We have vision boards, in the break room. This year we did something different. I made coloring sheets with like their word of the year.
Cute.
And so, like, it's just like super intentional stuff with them. We have a staff shout out board that they can, write little shout outs. For the retail and stuff like that, I cut out all of their faces and they like move them along the along the graph, as they are, but they're like, I can't wait to move my face. Like, and I'm like, it's, but you have to have those moments to share with them. And like, it's literally been such a impactful moment for me to create such a positive place. Like, I don't have room for negativity. I don't. And in a very estrogen heavy industry, that can be very difficult, because everybody does have their feelings and you want everyone to, feel their feelings, and that's super great. But I just had a conversation with my education director at the beginning of the year, and we said, no matter what, we set the tone. Every time. If you need to vent, if something's going on, you come to me. If I need to vent and something's going on, I'm going to come to you. But the girls will never feel that impact, because it has to stop with us. Like,